Welcome to the Player's Perspective podcast. Before we start, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and press the like button so it lets YouTube know that we're doing the right thing. In this video, we're going to be exploring the gender pay gap. Is it a myth or is it the truth? We're going to be playing a clip from the It's Complicated channel. Let's get into it.
Who is the most famous actress you can think of?
Actress? Drew Barrymore.
Okay, if Drew Barrymore was in a movie with a male co-star that nobody had heard of, would it be fair to pay them the same salary?
No,
Why not?
because he's not known of, and because he didn't work to be famous like she did.
Okay, since Drew is the star of the movie, won't she bring more people to the theater than her co-star?
Yes.
Okay, that's called star power. How is that different than the gender pay gap?
That's a loaded one. For women or for
Well, I mean, the WNBA complains about not being paid the same to the NBA, and they don't generate as much revenue. So, I mean, isn't that kind of like the same thing?
Facts. And to anyone watching this who disagrees, name me any 3 WNBA players. Name any 2. You don't know because nobody watches the WNBA. That's why they don't make as much revenue as the NBA, and that's why the players don't get paid as much as the NBA players get paid. Because they don't bring in the same amount of revenue.
I feel like the WNBA isn't promoted as much as the NBA because they are women.
Right, but I mean, wouldn't a male co-star that no one's ever heard of not be promoted as much and not be able to?
Yeah, I guess.
So is that comparable?
It's not.
Maybe, sure.
I mean, wouldn't it have more to do with performance than discrimination?
Oh,
Not the
I don't
gender
know.
wage
You're
gap.
hitting
They
me
always
well already.
complain.
I don't.
It's not the gender wage gap. That's a myth. It's been disproven already many, many times. It's because men take more risks with their careers. Men are also more likely to ask for a raise. And men do all the dangerous jobs. That's also why.
I don't know.
You're right about that one, but I just feel like
If they both doing the same
Same
job,
thing,
they deserve
then
the
they
same
should.
pay. It doesn't matter.
And they do get paid the same for same jobs. It'd be illegal in the United States, in Canada, or in any other Western country to pay anyone, not just a woman, any person, if you discriminate against them based on race, I'm pretty sure age falls into that category, or gender, you can get sued. It's illegal. So if what they were saying was true, everybody would only hire women.
Okay, but at the same time, you know,
If you could get away with that shit, everybody would only hire women. I would only hire women for my business if I could pay them 75 cents on the dollar. It's just basic business common sense.
then why would someone want to star in their movie?
I mean,
What would be the benefit of having a celebrity in your movie if they weren't gonna, bring more people to the theater?
right. That makes sense, but
I mean, they're both doing the same job, but don't they have different value to the project?
Yeah, but I feel
yeah,
like
you're right.
So-
See,
Whenever a female says "I feel like," some nonsense is about to come out of her mouth.
So shouldn't their pay,
Because she's talking from feelings, not facts. She feels like
I-
it should be this way, but it's not.
I feel like
reflect the value that they're bringing?
you're right. See,
So shouldn't their pay,
I feel
reflect the value that they're bringing to the movie?
Again,
yeah,
feel
I
like
agree
other
with that.
ones
I feel like it depends on what part you play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't that completely disprove the gender pay gap right there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, They're just so dumb, man.
All right.
You have two actors who are basically both starring and doing the same job, but they have different value because one is a celebrity and the other one's an unknown.
And you're saying with the basketball?
Well, what I'm saying is when it comes to basketball, right? A lot of women say that the WNBA should be paid the same as the NBA, but
Yeah, they
don't.
should.
But they don't generate the same revenue. So isn't that kind of like the same analogy as the celebrity getting paid more than the no-name actor?
In some respect, but at the end of the day, I would say to advertise them more. In all respect, if we look at Nike, if we look at Adidas.
Men play better than women. Everybody knows that. Women can't dunk like fucking like the male players. The female players can't do the shit the male players do. Like they can't jump as high. They can't run as fast. That's why watching the men is more entertaining. Even the women, I bet you if you ask any of these three females, they can't name you any three NBA players. Maybe not even two.
Who do we see? Like, we mostly see male, like, athletes. I'm trying to make a pose, models.
But even if you advertise something more, does that necessarily mean that you're going to have more success? I mean, there are tons of businesses that fail.
But there's a ton that make it, and it's by advertising.
Acting, it requires you to act.
Nope, you also have to have a good product. This iPhone would sell regardless of marketing because it's a good product.
Put a little bit more work into it.
This bitch never heard of word of mouth.
Fail.
But there's a ton that make it, and it's by advertising.
Acting, it requires you to
You don't. If you have a good product, you don't need any advertising. There's many successful businesses, many successful products that don't advertise at all.
act. Put a little bit more work into it. Actually read a script, right? Read a script. Do all these things that NBA players don't have to really do. They just practice and so you can't compare them. You can't compare the two.
Well, once again,
as far as the pay rate is concerned.
well, once again, like I said, they're both, I mean, they're both training. They're both basically, they're both doing, I mean, acting, whether you're a male or a female actor, you're still basically, doing the same work, but they shouldn't be paid the same.
I don't know.
I'm just saying,
I'm over it.
Yeah,
Next
when they have nothing to say, chicks, they just retreat. They don't want to be like, you know what, you're right. I want to think about this. Oh wow, you learn something new every day. Wow, you taught me something. Thank you. No, it's never that. It's like, oh, I'm over it. I don't want to talk about it, or ha 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 ha, or they laugh it off.
Question.
Because they have nothing to say. She has.
I don't
nothing
think
to
it's
say.
based off of discrimination. I think it's based off of how long you've been at your job, how well you are with your technique,
Finally,
how good you
some
are
bitch who's
at
making
what you
sense.
do. I think that's what matters.
Finally.
Do you think high-paid Hollywood actors should have their money redistributed so struggling actors can have a living wage?
No, those struggling actors need to work harder for their money if that's what
Facts.
they want.
Okay, but it's funny how a lot of Hollywood
Nobody's entitled to anything. The world doesn't owe you shit. Get that through your heads. All of you motherfuckers.
actors often talk about, socialism.
Yeah, I see.
So, okay, how do you solve the gender pay gap?
There's not a gender pay gap. That's complete bullshit.
There has been some skepticism about the gender pay gap, equal pay for equal work. Do you believe the wage gap is due more to sexism or productivity?
I think it's sexism.
Yes.
Okay.
I think men get paid more.
Yep.
It's got to be productivity.
Can you show me a job where the pay scale for men and women is different?
Porn.
Okay.
I don't know.
Facts. Female porn stars make way more than male porn stars, but you don't hear the male porn stars complaining because men, we just accept reality for what it is and we play accordingly. Women like to complain and bitch.
Actors and actresses.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Actors and actresses. They'll be in the same movie.
Yep.
Doing the same amount of work.
Yeah.
If the wage gap exists, then why would companies employ men when it would be cheaper to hire women?
Because companies can be sexist. And that's like the point. That's the problem.
Why would
Yeah, because people start corporations because they want to oppress females. This is just a dumb fucking argument on this woman's part. She's just fucking stupid.
companies employ men when it would be cheaper to hire women?
Exactly, that's what I said. Nobody would hire men anymore if you could get away with paying women less. It's just business 101.
Because companies can be sexist. And that's like the point.
Man, these
That's the
bitches are
problem.
so dumb.
Why would companies employ men when it would be cheaper to hire women?
That is a good one. Hold on. They probably wouldn't.
I mean, if women are capable of doing just as good a job and for less money, wouldn't it make sense for a company to hire all women?
I mean, yeah, if women were getting paid less, what is it, 70 cents on the dollar? Yeah, companies would,
Bullshit.
find a good deal in that. Yeah,
Is there a wage gap or an earnings gap?
it's got to be an earnings gap.
If men earn more than women overall, could it possibly be because men typically choose higher paying jobs, more dangerous jobs, and work longer hours?
Yep, these are all facts. I work as a truck driver. I don't see clearly as many female truck drivers as I do male. It's a dangerous job.
There's none. Same with construction workers, same with plumbers. Anything that's dirty or dangerous, women don't want to do. They only want the cushy jobs. They only want to be CEO or like president. All the shit that has power, but they don't want to do any of the dirty, difficult jobs.
It's a long job. You're driving for hours. Yeah, no.
Don't women generally choose lower paying fields like education and nursing as opposed to math, science, and ditch digging jobs?
more thinking more.
So wouldn't their pay reflect that?
Yeah, women like to work with people. Men like to work with things.
Don't women also choose to take more time off to focus on friends and family, whereas...
He's right. Generally, this is many studies in psychology suggest this, that men are generally interested in things and women are generally interested in people.
Men are more likely to be devoted to work?
I think, yeah, this is also another fact, biology of life.
Women have to bury a child and they have to take maternity leave, so that's a very big
life.
She said women have to bury a child. I think she meant to say bear. But with this abortion shit, man, a lot of these women are burying their kids.
Women have to bury a child and they have to take maternity leave, so that's a very big issue for most CEOs in the company, because they can't really have that liability for an employee to take leave for such a long time. And that's one of the biggest concerns for women being paid so low, is because of their it all has to do with...
But isn't that biology? And
yes, it has to do with biology. That's why we're upset.
Why should an employer be responsible for a woman's choice to have a kid?
They're not responsible, but it's just the basic ethics.
It actually is.
These bitches make no sense. It's just basic ethics. What does that mean? So an employer has to fucking pay you for your life choices? But yeah, in a female's world, that does make sense. Because they don't make sense. They don't have to make sense, bro. These bitches don't have to make any sense. They just say shit. They just say whatever feels right or good. Whatever sounds good. They don't think about this shit. And I bet you most of these women haven't really been talked to the way this guy's talking to them. And he's being actually very nice, and he's very good at what he does. He leads them on with like leading questions.
Illegal to discriminate pay based on gender. Why aren't more women filing class action lawsuits against companies that don't pay them equally?
I would say it's a lot easier to get another job. I mean, I'd love to say like, yeah, we're gonna fight for it, and we do, but to the extent of a lawsuit, I mean, get a new job.
Don't people sue for discrimination all the time?
Yeah, but also I feel like it's a lot harder
They all say I feel like.
for anybody to then go sue their job due to...
No, watch. Whenever they say I feel like, it's whenever a female says I feel like, it's followed by nonsense.
Discrimination all the time?
Yeah, but also I feel like it's a lot harder for anybody to then go sue their job due to something that happened, knowing that they're going to go through all the legal fees. They have the possibility of not then winning that case, although they very much would have been discriminated against. There's not a high chance that they could win it, and if they do, you get a payout, pays out through the staff, like things like that.
But even a class action lawsuit, I mean, if it was happening as frequently as you hear about it, you would think that companies would be sued all the time.
You would think, but I also don't think a lot of people are going to go through their time to sue a company knowing that it might be more repercussions to them in the end due to money and legal fees and all of that.
I also just think it's not talked about enough in the workplace. Like, there's a large stigma around discussing your pay with your coworkers, because what if you do make more than them and then they're like, hey, like, why are you getting paid more than me? It's something that you don't generally talk about with your coworkers. Like, oh, by the way, I make this much a year. You know, I make this much per paycheck. It's not something that comes up in workplace conversation.
Can you tell me any jobs where the pay scale for men and women is different?
Not off the top of my head without like.
I can.
Oh.
Actors. I mean, broad amount of payment, but men are higher paid actors.
Why are some industries dominated by men and others by women?
Oh. Dang, I don't know.
Why are there more female than male strippers and prostitutes, and what does that say about society?
That sex sells, and the female body is more pleasurable to look at, I guess.
Would it be
No, it's that generally women don't need to pay for sex, because any woman can walk outside right now and get sex. She can open her legs on the street corner, and within 10 minutes there'd be a dick in it. You know what I mean? So that's why generally it's the men who need to pay for sex. I don't think a man should pay for sex. I don't pay for sex. I think it's bad for a man to do that, because just like a hunter who doesn't hunt, you lose your skills, you lose your ability to catch something when you're actually hungry. So you should not be paying for sex. I suggest you get your game up, go to the gym, develop social skills, avoid paying for prostitutes or sex unless it's your only choice. And for some of you it is.
Possible to sell sex if men did not sexually objectify women?
No. That's why I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining.
If I didn't get objectified, I wouldn't get paid.
As long as he paid.
That's how people view women.
Okay. Why don't men complain about female strippers and prostitutes earning more than male ones?
That's a good question.
How much of our economy is driven by men buying things to please and impress women?
Oh, man, it's got to be close to 100%, if not, in the high 90s,
Would you agree that most consumer spending is geared towards women?
Yeah, I think the statistics are right. I think 86% of consumer base is women.
Would you also agree that the media pushes a campaign of fear and consumption by exploiting men's need for female validation?
Yeah, look at dating websites. They're not there to find love. They're there to extract as much resources out of men as possible.
So why is there so much talk about the exploitation of women, but we never talk about this exploitation of men?
Facts. Just like that Netflix documentary, The Tinder Swindler. A woman got ripped off by a man, and it became a documentary on Netflix. But that shit happens to men all the time. Men get finessed by women all the time. And nobody fucking makes no Netflix documentaries. It's not even talked about. Because that's how common it is.
It's like the society growing up thing, toughen up, young man, or, men don't cry or something like that. It's expected of men to front the bill.
Finally, why is there so much talk about a gender pay gap, but not a gender spend gap?
I sometimes I believe women want to be men in the sense of that they want they
want to be men when it's convenient for them and when it benefits them. Otherwise, they want all the privileges that come with being a woman.
Ambition, they want the drive that they have, they want the results, but results aren't given to everybody equally.
How should we determine which jobs are more valuable?
It's about supply and demand when it comes to what's valuable. So, if it's cracking, if it's a lot of people that want the business, whatever the job is offering, then it should pay more. Like McDonald's, man. I think McDonald's workers should get paid more. They making all them goddamn cheeseburgers, man. Pay them McDonald's workers more money, man.
Women can do more than men can in certain
And then your fucking Big Mac combo would be $20.
aspects, and men can do more than women can in certain aspects.
So if a man is making more, it's because he's doing a job that I probably can't do.
So can we agree that men and women are different?
Yes.
There you go.
Finally, there's some hope in the world. I'm glad there's some girls who actually make sense and know the truth. That makes me happy.
Mean when somebody says that's a man's job?
I think in society, it's meant to mean that it's like a more macho or like laborious job, society-wise.
Okay, what's a woman's job?
A woman's job is anything she wants to be. I mean,
Well, wouldn't a man's job also be anything he wants it to be then?
in the same respect, yeah.
Hard work, labor, out and open.
What's a woman's job?
Cook, clean, and make sure the house is good.
Do you think most women want to do those jobs today?
They should.
But do they want to?
Probably not.
So why are men still expected to be what women want if women are no longer encouraged to be what men want?
It's the world we live in.
Isn't that a world of double standards?
It is.
Mechanics. So women want men to still be. Women still want men who fulfill masculine duties, but women don't want to fulfill their feminine duties. That's where we're at now. We're still expected to be providers. We're still expected to take care of the woman physically. You know, traditional masculine duties, which I'm all for. I believe men should do those things. But then at the same time, women should stick to their fucking roles. Respect your man. Listen to him. When he says don't fucking go to Blue Mountain by yourself with your friends, with your thoughty friends, don't go. Or Big Daddy Rose is going to break up with you. That's what happens. A lot of these women, they don't fucking understand this shit because they've been taught independent queen. Yeah, I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. Yeah, do whatever you want, but then you're going to be doing it alone.
Getting your hands dirty, moving labor, driving trucks. The list could go on and on.
Why are women more concerned with the ratio of male to female CEOs as opposed to the ratio of lower paid, dangerous, dirty jobs done mostly by men?
I think because women who want to start their own business or want to be their own CEO are frowned upon because it's looked at that's a man's job, not a woman's job.
Nobody frowns upon that shit. Matter of fact, it's celebrated. A lot of companies have quotas to hire women and have them in board positions where it's like affirmative action but for females. Most of the scholarships for college and university are for women. Most of the people who graduate today from college or university are females. So I don't know what this person is talking about.
It's on the tip of my brain. It's like they don't even acknowledge that as something that makes the world go round. We're in Las Vegas. Men built all of these skyscrapers, roads.
Facts.
There's probably some
Facts.
women in there, but yeah, they're just
Facts.
invisible to that.
Yeah, you're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower. That was built by a man, probably. Would you rather have a high-profile job for no pay or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I struggle with the smell of poo. So I think a high-profile job with no pay, because when you think about it, it would come with incentives.
You can pay your mortgage there.
I guess there's pros to both of them, but to give you a flat-out answer, I would prefer to have the high-profile job without pay, because if I was high-profile, I'd market myself to be sponsored by some
She'd use the clout. She's a clout demon.
company and just keep working at it and get money, get paid, do more with that platform I have.
I'm cleaning sewers for $100K, man. Ain't no shame in my game.
I'm cleaning sewers. There's no question about it.
Why?
More money.
Clean the sewers. I'm just going in my head. No, I'm going to clean the sewers for $100,000 a year.
Or clean sewers for $100,000 a year?
I'll say this right now. I agree with the female with her approach if making money is her approach, because we live in an attention economy where you can monetize attention. So if you had 1 million followers on any platform, you can make a lot of money. You can make way more than $100,000 a year with 1 million followers. So that chick is business minded. I'll give her that. And the other dudes, they're lacking. But I'd say this: I respect those dudes for wanting to clean sewers for $100,000, because men like that are important. Because somebody's got to do those things, otherwise shit falls apart, literally. So respect to those dudes and anybody who's, you know, picking up trash and doing all the hard jobs. Shout out.
I rather to first one.
Okay, so wouldn't that explain why you're paid less?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to do.
Because I really don't want to do that.
You don't want to do the dangerous, dirty jobs.
No.
So could that possibly be why so many women earn less money than men?
Yep.
So is that based on discrimination or based on choice?
And choices.
So that's the end of the video. And now at this point, I'm going to ask everybody to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'm up here in Toronto. I could be out partying, doing a bunch of other shit, but I'm up making this content for you motherfuckers. So please go ahead, like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel.